Hey everybody, it's Mark Wiley with the Mark Wiley Realty Group at Keller Williams Realty Southwest. Thanks again for watching one of my videos. This week we're going to talk about the market update again. It's April 22nd, 2020, and I brought you my first report last week. The good news is last week was kind of depressing. The numbers were really low. This week, most of the numbers are higher. So we are seeing a rebound effect, and I'm going to share that with you here in a second. Just to recap, though, what we typically talk about, what are the key indicators that my team and I look at each week so that we can best guide our clients through this process. And so right here on my screen, I've got a quick list for you, but we're looking at things like how much active inventory do we have available on the market right now for buyers to go and look at. We look at things like how many of those are going under contract each week. We also look at factors that tell us if we're in a buyer or seller market. So things like how many price reductions are we seeing, and then how many people are actually offering what the seller lists the home for. So we have a report, it's the list price to sales price ratio, and it tells us how close to 100% of the list price we're achieving. We also look at things like the median sales price trend, and we look at how many new homes are coming on the market each week. So let's dive into this a little bit more, and if you guys ever have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer questions, walk you through this yourself. The more my clients know, the easier this whole transaction goes. And so, let's look at the bottom here, a week of April 22nd, new inventory. Now, this is active inventory of 5,955 homes. Earlier this year, you can see if you look at the top of the sheet, we were at 5,441. So we really haven't made a ton of headway from the day from January 3rd till now, but it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. You can see we dropped down as far as mid-March. We were at 4,177 homes, and that was right when the buying season was about to kick off. So at that point, we were stressed like we might not have enough inventory to sell. And now with COVID causing everybody to stay at home, again, people aren't flying to town to look at homes. People aren't relocating here on time. I'm not saying they're not coming, they're just not here yet. And so now we've seen this inventory. People were still wanting to get their home on the market. And now we're back up to, let's just say 6,000 homes, okay? And we want to get that into at least the 8,000, 10,000 home range before we start to talk about a true buyer-dominated market where there's plenty of inventory to go around, plenty of choices for each buyer to look at and compare. And then, of course, they have a little more buying power. They can ask for closing costs. They can ask for more repair work to be done or credit for repairs. So the number's still dramatically low, okay? We're still in a seller's market. I'm not saying we're going to stay there very long, but if the inventory continues to climb, by the time our buyers are able to get out of their house and start flying into town to look at what they're interested in, we may see that inventory hopefully in the 7, 8, 9,000 home range. But there's also a chance, based on today's buyer demand, we may not get there. We still have a lot of people that we're showing homes to every day right now. We're using our safety precautions. We've got our masks, gloves, you name it, but people still need to buy. So, you know, it's not that we're insensitive to what's going on. It's people may have already relocated for work, right? Sometimes, and it's very common, where one spouse will fly to the other market, get settled in with their job, and then the rest of the family comes in the summertime. There's a lot of those. I have clients that need to get out of Vegas because the spouse took a job in Florida and Texas, in Maryland. And so the spouse is there working, now working from their rental unit, and the families are still here. As soon as now they know school is out for the rest of the year, we're starting to get in that process of getting their homes ready to list. So we do expect the inventory to increase, but we also expect the buyer demand to increase. So it's likely that we're going to stay in this kind of even market where it's not necessarily a buyer's market, but it's also not necessarily 100% seller's market. At the end of the day, I'm going to summarize it by this. If you've got a home that you need to sell, the better condition it's in, the better chance you're going to get what you expect from it. Typically, the problem is when we see homes sit on the market, it's because the price doesn't match the condition. That's really it. Barring the anomaly situation where you've got an uncooperative seller that listed a home but didn't really want to sell it, there's really not a lot of reason why a home shouldn't sell if you price it for the condition the home is in. So let's talk about a couple other metrics here. The good news is last week, I'm going to say last week was rock bottom. We hope that was the case and that we're seeing a turn for the better here. But last week we saw 399 homes go under contracts. This week we're at 492. So we saw an uptick. It's not great. We still need to get that number back up to like 700, 800, 900 homes. That would be on the low end of a normal spring weekly number. We also need to look at this home sold number. This also went up this week. So last week we were at 402 homes sold and closed. This week, 451. Hopefully those numbers should continue to climb as long as the new homes under contract continue to climb, okay? Some positive news here is the median days on market is at 13, okay? So that's 2 weeks in a row that we've seen that number. That's extremely low. That's a positive sign. And again, it goes back to, we've got two subsets of inventory. You've got people who have homes that were well maintained, they're show ready, and they priced it accordingly. Then you have homes that they're not show ready, they're not going to be show ready, the seller has to sell it as is, and maybe it's not the nicest one on the block. Those homes, they still sell quickly if you price it accordingly, right? If the guy down the street has a brand new kitchen, brand new bathrooms, and a sparkling pool in the backyard, and you have a cesspool in the backyard with some mosquitoes in it, and your tile showers are 20 years old, you can't say that that's a model match and you're going to get the same price. So little things to think about. The other factors here that we're looking at, and these are all positive signs right now, is our median sales price last week took a dive. We've been hovering around 315 to 325 for the whole first quarter. And now last week we saw it drop to 300,000. The good news is we're back up to 320,000 as the median sales price this week. And so we're hoping that was just an anomaly. We're also seeing price reductions pretty consistent, nothing really to report here. 470 price reductions this week. This could be buyers, you know, again, over time, if a buyer after buyer after buyer writes an offer on the same house and they're all lower than list price, eventually the sellers have to understand that their home probably isn't worth what they expected. So price reductions show that we have motivated sellers who are willing to give concessions in order to sell their home. We also saw that the list price for sales price is holding strong at 98% of list price. And so again, this number is pretty consistent what we've seen week to week for the last multiple quarters actually. And we want to keep this as close to 100% as possible. The last number here on the far right, new inventory. This is new homes put on the market in the last 7 days. The most important takeaway from this is we want to see this number higher than this number over here. So this is homes put into contract in the last 7 days, 492, and this is new homes put on the market. Basically, this is your replacement inventory for these homes that are no longer available. As long as this number continues to stay above this one, we're going to see our inventory climb. Now, is 30 new homes or 40 new homes going to really move the needle for us? No. We need to see that number a little more dramatic difference. But listen, right now, we're going to take what we can get. So that is it on the market stats. I know I go over that quickly, but let me just remind you guys, this is changing, if not daily, for sure weekly. And you guys have a lot of questions. I'm on the phone all day, literally 7 days a week with my clients right now. I'm here for you guys to answer anything I can. So if you have a specific question about your home value, whether you should sell, whether you should buy, maybe you're thinking about relocating, maybe you're thinking about kicking the spouse out and downsizing, whatever your situation is, we're here for you. Feel free to give me a call, 702-499-1915. If you want to email me, mark@markwileyrealty.com. And we will bring this to you again next week. If you guys have any questions, please reach out. And more importantly, stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope you guys are taking it easy in your quarantine. Take care.